Hello, I'm Peter Toth, and welcome to Toth Talks, Getting Unstuck, Episode 5, Self-Care Strategies. There are two main self-care strategies that I want to talk about in this episode. The first is be present, and the second is be intentional. We're going to unpack each of these ideas. We'll start with the first one. What does being present mean? There are four main components to this. The first main component is to breathe. Take time to just breathe. It allows you to recenter yourself, to calm yourself. The second is to know yourself. Be aware of your tells and your triggers. How can you tell when you are starting to feel stressed? When those stressful moments are starting to build up and reach a point where you're struggling or you're about to go off the track. Learn yourself well enough to know when something upsets you and when something is going to derail you from moving forward. The third one is to manage the voices that influence your behavior. We all have internal voices, voices inside our heads that either help us or hinder us as we move forward. So when we think about the way we speak to ourselves, do we speak to ourselves in a positive way? Do we support ourselves? Do we encourage ourselves? Or are we constantly thinking that we're not good enough? And are we voicing those opinions in our heads? There are also external voices, the voices that are from outside of ourselves, things like social norms and social media, FOMO, all of the things that are telling us that we should be different than the way we are. The next is locus of control. Being aware of the things that we can control and the things we can't within our lives. An internal locus of control, that is when people believe that they can actually impact the things that are happening to them, that they can change what's going on. Whereas an external locus of control is the idea that things are happening beyond our control. There's an external force, bad luck, fate, destiny, that is controlling all of the things that happen to us. Having an internal locus of control makes us less susceptible or less vulnerable to stress because we have an idea or the belief that we can actually impact our situation. Being intentional also has four components. The first component of being intentional is being intentional with your time. Do you spend time on things that build you up, on things that push you to be more positive and more creative, things that push you forward to grow and develop, or do you focus your time on things that take you away from that? We also need to know how to take effective breaks, and that's number two. Effective breaks aren't just a stop of the work. An effective break is a way to actually shift gears, to change directions, to give your mind, your body a chance to recover from the stresses of the work you've been doing. And so an effective break could be something like reading poetry or going for a walk or doing some exercises or having a conversation with someone that isn't related to what you do in your job. The third one is setting clear boundaries. Being able to say no without feeling guilty or disappointing yourself or someone else. The fourth one is recognizing the difference between constructive and destructive actions. So constructive actions are things that we do that help us develop and grow and be stronger and more confident in ourselves. Destructive behaviors are behaviors that numb us to a situation in the short term and actually make things much worse in the long term. Being intentional relates more to mindset. Choosing to take ownership of these decisions and these actions to help me move forward and get stronger and to grow. Thinking about self-care helps us to avoid falling into the traps that will get us stuck. But if you find yourself stuck, these self-care strategies can help you get out of that and start moving forward again. In our next episode, we're going to talk about how we put it all together, how we take all these things we've talked about and put it together to help us continue moving forward and growing. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.